I just picked up a $3,200 collection for $2,400. And if you don't understand these three things, you're gonna miss deals like this every single time. All right, so let's show you guys this collection. The first part of it was this Elite Trainer box from 151. We all know that 151 is going crazy right now, and so I was really excited to get to add a Elite Trainer box to my collection. This one's really nice looking, no rips or tears or anything in the seal, so that's gonna be really nice. Other part of the sealed was these two poster collections from 151. These are really cool. I'm really tempted to rip one because I've never got to rip any 151 because I got into Pokemon just about 6 months ago, so I didn't really have a chance to open stuff like this or Prismatic that are pretty popular right now, but those are a pretty good pickup. The trainer box is going for around $665. The posters are going for about $90 each. And then that was the sealed. And then the slabs I picked up 4 from Tag. Now I know PSA's kind of been the gold standard for the last couple of years in Pokemon, but just with all the controversy they've had with damaging cards or increasing their prices and extending their wait times, wanted to give Tag a try. I think they look really cool. The slabs are really clean and really kind of minimal. I think they look really good in a case. I also really like that those QR codes, when you scan those with a phone, it actually takes you to a website that will tell you why it got the grade that it got. So all these are Gem Mint 10s, but within those Gem Mint 10s, there's actually a score. So this Eevee is actually a 979 out of a possible 1,000. And then when you go to that website, you see how and why they grade it the way they do. And the other cool thing they do is they will actually tell you the rank of each of your cards for that, of that population. So, for this one, there's about 1,200 Gem Mint 10 Snorlax 151 promo cards, and this one's like 300 out of 1,200, which I think is kind of a cool extra little feature that Tag does for their slabs. That one is going for around $225 on eBay. This Eevee from Twilight Masquerades, one is absolutely adorable, but is also going for around $250 on eBay. So that was a pretty good value there. Really good card. The one I wasn't sure about, but I picked up anyway, was this Machoke. When I was looking online for comps, it's selling every few weeks. There's like one that goes for like 125 bucks. So it's gonna be one I hold for a while. Currently the low listing is 150. I've always loved Pokemon when they're in like a setting of normal life. So I just think that, Machoke being in a house, helping people move is just really kind of a cool card. So if nothing else, this might just go in the PC. The big reason I picked up all of these was because I really wanted this one. This Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX from Destined Rivals is absolutely incredible. Gem Mint 10 scored a 972 out of a possible 1,000. Currently on eBay, the lowest sellings that I've seen in the last few days is $1,200. I've seen listings for as much as $1,500, $1,600 bucks. I think this thing's going to do nothing but go higher, so I was really happy to pick this up, and it just looks really good in that slab. Also got just a bunch of singles from primarily from Ascended Heroes, some Destined Rivals, Phantasmal Flames, a little bit of Perfect Order. I really love that Team Rocket's Mimikyu. Some of these are kind of low end, nothing crazy, but some of these will just make their way into the PC, or I'll give them to my kids who want to fill out their box. Wigglytuff will go really well in my daughter's box. I do love this Mega Dragonite and this Mega Frostless EX with the Japanese poster art. Just think that looks really cool from Ascended Heroes. The big one is going to be the Pheasantipity EX from Ascended Heroes. Who would have known this card would have popped off? I think this one's like 80 bucks right now on TCG Player. There's 3 other cards in the collection that I picked up, but the buyer forgot to include them when I went to his house to pick them up. So I'm gonna have to go back later and pick them up. But it's the Latios, the Latias EX, and the Pikachu EX from Surging Sparks. So all together, all these cards are about $500. So we're looking at $3,200 in value, and I paid around $2,400 for it. So really great pickup. That's about 75%. So I want to bring you back up. I'm going to tell you guys how I got this deal. So here's how I was able to actually score this deal. And whether you're a collector, an investor, or you run your own TCG player store, there's really 3 things that you need to do to ensure that you get collections like this. The first thing is you need to be consistent. So when I got this deal, this actually wasn't the first time I've worked with this buyer before. I've actually done 2 other deals with him in the past. Both of them were smaller deals, but I've been consistently buying from him. And when he reaches out to me, I offer to buy stuff, or I reach out to him. When I see listings, I always buy if he responds. And it's that consistency that helps build trust. And when people know that you're reliable, that you're gonna show up, that you're not gonna back out of the deal at the last minute, or you're gonna show up to the meetup spot and offer a lower price, they wanna work with you. And I believe that in this business, repeat deals beat one-time steals. And that leads me to my second point is be clear on your pricing. When I work with people, whether I'm vending at a show or I'm making an offer to someone online, I'm upfront with what I'm going to pay. I don't just throw out a number. I let them know, hey, when I buy singles, I tend to buy singles for 70% of market when I pay cash. And I pay a little bit higher if we do trade credit. And then for sealed, I do 75 to 85% of market price in cash. And when I let them know that up front and then I give my offer, they understand where that offer is coming from. And they don't think that it's a low ball if it's not what they're expecting. And I can explain to them how I arrived at that number. The guy who reached out to me, he came to me because he'd been getting lowballed. People had given him numbers that were really low, lower than what he wanted, and he wanted $2,500 for it. He knows what my rates are, and so when I reviewed the numbers and I kind of shared a couple of the cards that I wasn't so sure about, he understood why I wanted to offer $2,400 as opposed to $2,500, and he took the deal. And so that's the difference. The clarity around pricing kept the deal alive, because confusion kills clarity, and a lack of clarity kills deals. The third thing you need to do is to be a completionist, and not just like in the gaming sense where you're trying to 100% a game. Buy the whole collection. So this buyer, he actually had 3 different listings for all of this collection. He had a listing for the sealed, a listing for the slabs, and a listing for the singles. And instead of just offering him a piece of all of it or saying, hey, I'll take this slab and I'll take that sealed and most of these cards, I'll leave the low value ones, I just said, hey, I'll take it all. Because even though the number I offered wasn't what he wanted for all of it, he knew he was only gonna have to deal with one buyer. And being a completionist allowed me to take the whole deal at a price that made sense for both of us. And I know that I'm gonna get more deals from this guy in the future because he doesn't have to deal with multiple buyers. He doesn't have to work with someone he's never worked with. He knows that when he reaches out to me, I'll take it and I'll give him a fair price. If you do those 3 things, be consistent, be clear, and be a completionist, you'll get deals like this too. So hey, enough about my deal. I'd love to hear what's the best collection you've ever picked up at a show or ever picked up online. Tell me about it in the comments below. And if you want to see more content like this, be sure to give us a like, follow, and subscribe. Thanks once again for stopping by the basement.